So this is the legendary, absolutely legendary Saab 900. And I think after ABBA and IKEA, it's probably one of the most iconic Swedish exports. And it just so happened to be literally the cheapest car available on Facebook Marketplace. So I had to buy it. Now, of course, you're wondering, how much did I pay for this absolute beauty? Well, you're gonna have to stick around to get to know that. Now, let's take a closer look at this absolute marvel of a machine. Now, of course, this car was built long before car manufacturers made the massive mistake of making everything a touchscreen. So every knob and dial is analog, and while maybe half of them don't really work, at least they're a little bit satisfying to click. While it sometimes does a little bit of coughing, it starts usually within a second or two, and it has a really nice rumble, which I think is because there might be an exhaust leak somewhere with the car. These cars came with either an automatic or manual gearbox, and this one has the sought after manual one, and I love a manual car. One of the most iconic parts of the Saab 900, and maybe even one of the most iconic ways this has ever been done, is of course the engine hatch. Check this out. Now, if this isn't the coolest thing you've ever seen, then I don't know what. Check that out. I mean, it is just absolutely iconic. What a cool solution to something like an engine hatch. And I mean, it just makes this thing look so badass. This is, as you can see, the 3-door sedan. It's not the turbo version, but we don't need that. And the third door refers to the trunk here. And it's a surprisingly spacious trunk. Now, of course, we can all see that it's not the most intact version of a Saab 900. Some of the trim has fallen off on the left side, and there's a whole bunch of rust going on. The doors have seen better days. But all in all, it's a functional car, and that's really the most important thing for me, because why did I buy it? Well, I need to get to the grocery store and I need to get to the hardware store. So the idea is that this is going to make sure that we can leave the yard, get the lumber we need to get this boat built. And for the sweet price of 1,200 Canadian dollars, this was mine. Now, the great thing that even though the exterior looks a little bit rough, the engine still runs. Now, of course, any good boat or car needs a name, and this guy actually already came with a name, and it is Bernie. And welcome to the family, Bernie. Now, this was a little bit of a side project here. I just wanted to show you our new family member, and hopefully a character that's going to show up in a whole lot of episodes going forward. And maybe one day, if enough of you want to see it, we might take on a second project. But for now, I have a lot of work to do on a boat, so let's get back to it. So in the last episode we got a bit more work done on the boat. I made a new piece of the keel sheet and put it into place. I leveled out the keel and we did a bit of work up in the corner of the transom, and a new covering board was made. In today's episode the work continues on the transom. Okay, so I wasn't planning on filming this, but it's becoming a bit of a thing that it might actually be interesting to see. So what's happened is, as these new frames have gone in, they've actually sprung the build stringer up here. So I feel like I need to show this a bit clearer. So here we have the inside of the hole, and then up top we have the stringer. And the stringer was of course made with a straight piece of lumber, and it's been bent into place following the lines of the hole. And it seems that even after all these years, or we're talking about 75 years plus, there's still memory left in the wood, and it sprung out a little bit as the old frames and planking came out of the boat. So what I'm doing is I put a block in here, if you can see that, and then I fasten that through this stringer here, and then I put this block here to kind of pull this upper stringer in. And now with this big clamp here, I'm trying to get the stringer to come back down. And then once it's come down, I'm gonna send some true bolts through here. And these might actually be too short, unfortunately. Yeah. All right, well, let's see if I can actually get this down first, and then we'll solve that through bolt issue. Oop. Okay, it's starting to come down. It's still poking out here. All right, that is looking a lot better. Now let's see if I can clamp it in here. All right, now to fasten this, I'm gonna cut up 2 pieces of ready rod and send through here. All right, now the trick is to drill through this piece here. Got my hole right there. Got my new bolts here and my bedding compound. Get this all coated. All right. With the stringer back in its original place, it was time to bolt the new frames to the boat. I was doing this to make sure that they would hold their shape and not spring out. For this I was using galvanized bolts. While I'm using bronze down in the bilge where it's wet, I'm not really worried about using galvanized iron up above the waterline. Not only will it suffice in doing its job, but it's also way cheaper than bronze. So dumpster diving is basically the main sport here at the boatyard, and I mean, you wouldn't believe what people actually throw away here. Let's take a look. Right off the bat here we have a what looks like solid Honduran mahogany chair, and I mean, it might look like trash, but these pieces here, if these are solid mahogany, they're actually pretty damn useful for the boat. It could be a repair for the outer wall or really whatever. So I'm gonna take this chair, we'll cut that up back in the shop, but now it's the perfect way to get up and see if we can find anything else. Let's see what we got here. An old speaker filled with fasteners. Oh, brass fitting and a bunch of galvanized steel, which is both wordy. We'll save that. A bag full of little bolts. Doesn't look super useful, but I mean, the shop could probably use these. Full of nuts too. Save that. More galvanized steel. A mixed bag of fasteners. I see some brass in there. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, brass bolts. We'll save that and go through it. That's cool. Some brass detailing. I don't know what these are for, but we'll save them. Lots of more fasteners here. Looks like we have even more mahogany, hey? Oh, another bag of fasteners. Nope. So many fasteners for the shop. But this is what I want. Well, I'm not sure if this is mahogany or not. I'm gonna have to get a second opinion on this. But if it is, it kind of looks like it. We'll save it. Oh, it doesn't really look like mahogany, does it? It's pretty heavy though. Alright, well, we got some stuff here. This doesn't really look like mahogany, but this chair sure does. Alright, so now we're back here in current time. It is July 2026. And what you just watched was filmed roughly about 2 years ago. And right now, I know the format is a little bit confusing. We're jumping back and forth. Here we are in my workshop. One day, pretty soon, you're gonna see me building this. But I figured we'd jump forward into time here because I kind of want to show you some of the stuff that I'm actually pulling out of these bins and that I'm pulling out of the boat crush. So in the yard here, every year, a couple times a year, they are crushing a whole bunch of boats. And if you're lucky, if you're fast, you can get a chance with permission to go on board and pick out hardware or whatever you can really find on board. And the reality is that a lot of the hardware that comes out of these boats are, of course, not made anymore. It was made 70 to 100 years ago, and it's pretty difficult to find. So it's actually a huge opportunity spending all this time in the yard because it gives me an opportunity to salvage a lot of beautiful things that are coming out of these boats at the end of their lives. And unfortunately, I don't even want to think about how much of this stuff that has actually been crushed already. But I figured I'd give you a little show and tell of what's actually been salvaged and what we might actually use in the boat. So let's start with what we have on top here. These are some really massive hinges that came out of a huge trawler, and I mean, the patina is beautiful, polished up, might be even more beautiful. And I could totally see something like this being used in the boat for maybe a butterfly hatch on the cabin roof or at the hatch in the bow. Beautiful pieces of treasure. And of course, like a lot of these boats, they have old bronze hooks like this, and I mean, they're just so incredibly beautiful. And I mean, go to a store today and you just won't find anything like this. Lots of door, what are these called? Like door pullers with intricate patterns that were saved. Lots of just beautiful old hardware, like these kind of clasps are really beautiful, and I tend to use these. I make dog leashes out of leather, and I tend to get hardware out of the old boats and incorporate them into the leather work I do. This is the clasp I put on Atya's leash, and I actually think this one was given to me by Aladino from Sailing Magic Carpet. I also collect any and all little latches for hatches that I can get over. Here is a really beautiful key, little key protector or keyhole protector. This is definitely going into the boat. Through holes for diesel tanks and water. We got a lot of those that we're gonna use. And this is the kind of hardware that I use for dog leashes. Some of this stuff I also bought at the market. There's a market here in the yard every year. This is one of the cooler items that I bought at the yard sale. And usually there are some goodies. Here I really want to show you this one. This is a little fixed porthole. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I think I already have an idea where this is gonna go. I'm thinking in the forward hatch in the bow to let some light in. Another small, really pretty porthole. Could use a little cleaning, get rid of the paint. Great find from a boat that turned into mulch. Every now and then there's cleats. I think these actually came from my boat. They will go back in. This I know did not come from my boat. Also a really beautiful solid bronze cleat. We have a little water spout. Here is a cover for a water intake. This might actually go into the boat. It's beautiful. Polish that up, make it all golden. Lots more hangers. Some of these came out of the boat, some of them came out of other boats. Any and all hinges that I can get a hold of, especially these bronze hinges, I collect because they are definitely being used in the boat somewhere. And then last but not least, I want to show you the nav lights that actually came out of the boat. These I took down when I was doing varnishing, and I just haven't put them back up because there's a lot of work left to do, but I think these are, I mean, absolutely beautiful. Now, a little bit of a sidetrack here. I just wanted to kind of show you some of the things that I'm gathering, some of the things that have come out of the boat, and some of the things that might actually go back into the boat as we proceed forward in this restoration. A lot of beautiful detailing, and I figured if you're into this kind of content, wooden boat restoration, old things, you might get a kick out of all this beautiful hardware that we're actually gonna build this boat out of. Now, this was a little bit of a shorter episode. We got a little bit of the car in there. I've been quite busy lately. I've been having to focus on work, which means that there's been less time to actually edit. But in the next episode, I promise we're gonna get a lot of work done on the boat. So thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want behind the scenes content, ad-free viewing, all of that jazz, check out the Patreon below. And if you want to support this project with lumber, fasteners, all those kind of things, then there's a GoFundMe down below. donations over $50 will get their name engraved in the engine room. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ati, do you want to say bye? No? Okay. Well, see you.